योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्ताम् सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यां च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवति पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्. Shloka 7 in Vishnu Sahasranama is Agrahya Shashvata Krishno Lohitaksha Pradharthanaha Prabhudastriga Gubdhama Pavitram Mangalam Param. The words in this shloka are Agrahya Shashvata Krishnaha Lohitaksha Pradharthanaha Prabhudaha Triga Gubdhama Pavitram Paramam Mangalam. So these are the 9 words in this shloka of Vishnu Sahasranama. The first word Agrahya is that which cannot be perceived by the 5 sensory organs is Agrahya. We cannot see Bhagavan, we cannot touch Bhagavan, so he is Agrahya. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, it is given that in the Taittiriya Upanishad, in section 2, chapter 9, the first mantra says, Yatho vacho nivartande aprapya manasa saha. Meaning, one who cannot be attained by words or by mind is Agrahya. That's the meaning given for Agrahya in Taittiriya Upanishad. So, that which cannot be perceived by the sensory organs or by the mind is Agrahya. But the defect of the mind is it cannot understand anything which is not gross or which cannot be perceived by the sensory organs. However big it may be, if it is gross and if they are perceivable by the sense organs, then the mind can grasp it or understand it. So, understanding this concept or the defect of the mind, our ancestors, they depicted Bhagavan as Vigraha, as a finite form. This finite form, that is the Vigraha, or we call it as ideal, is worshipped in the temples, done pujas for that ideal, done many rituals for that ideal. And by that way, that divine feeling is awakened in us. This practice was not there in the Krita Yuga or in the Vedic period because those times the people's mind were so sharp and they were able to observe or grasp the subtle concept. In the Kali Yuga and in the Puranic period, the people's mind were able to grasp only that is a finite, gross, and that we can see or perceived by the 5 sensory organs. So based on this only, the Vigraha method or form of worship came into existence. The Vigraha, it depicts all the subtle divine concepts of the infinite Lord. For example, if we take the Vigraha of Bhagavan Vishnu, he has 4 hands. The 2 hands are in the raised position and the 2 hands lowered position. In the lowered hand, he will hold a lotus flower, Padma, which symbolizes that he is the creator, which symbolizes the creation. And with the other hand, he will show the Abhaya Mudra, that is fearless Mudra, or that is Ma Shuchaha. These are the last two words of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18 and Sloka 66. So these are that means, do not grieve. I am here. I will support you, and I will bring you from all of your sins. And I will bring you out from all of your sins. So that Abhaya Mudra he will show with the another hand, or sometimes he will have a mace in his hand, which symbolizes that he will wipe off all the negative thoughts from our mind and make our mind pure and subtle, so that we can grasp the subtle concept of the self. And with this two raised hand, he will hold, with one hand, Bhagavan will hold the Shankar, that is the conch, which symbolizes the that is the sustenance of this creation. Because the primordial sound, Omkara, is reverberating in all the objects. But in conch, we can hear it, or we can observe it more clearly, a bit clearly. If we keep the Shankar near our ears and hear it, very feebly we can hear that Omkara reverberating in that. That's in any object it will reverberate, but in Shankar it's more clear. So when he holds that Shankar in his hand, it indicates that Bhagavan Vishnu sustains this world. He protects this world. And in the other hand, he will hold that discus, that is Sudarshan's chakra, which indicates that he will destroy all the evil mind and make it positive. And during the time of pralaya, he will bring back all the gross objects into its in its original form. So, such subtle concepts are brought in that finite vigraha, and people do worship for it, or do puja for it. But the point here is, one must not conclude that Bhagavan is that finite form. That infinite concept is given as somewhat rupa in that form. That's all. One must not think that Bhagavan is only in the temple, and one must not think that Bhagavan is in this form alone. One must think beyond it. For the initial stages of bhakti, this vigraha and the temple way of worship will help us a lot. It will support us a lot. But after a certain level, when our knowledge, we have to widen up our knowledge on Bhagavan. So one must not conclude that Bhagavan is finite, and that's what this word agrahya indicates. Bhagavan is beyond any form or any temple. Bhagavan is infinite and he is non-dual, and he cannot be grasped or perceived by the sensory organs. That's the meaning of the word agrahya. The next word is Shashwataha. Shashwata means eternal. One who doesn't have the beginning end, he is eternal. Bhagavan doesn't have a beginning or an end, and so he is eternal. He is beyond the concept of time, and cannot be limited by time, because Kala, the time itself, came out from Bhagavan, and he is beyond time. And the Mahanarayanya Upanishad, section 13, Sloka 3, it says that Matim Vishwasyatmaishwara Shashwata Shivam Achyudam. Bhagavan is Shashwata, eternal. Shivam, absolute bliss. Mangala, and Achyudaha, he is unchanging, unmovable. So this is the explanation given for Narayana, Bhagavan Vishnu, in the Mahanarayana Upanishad. So Bhagavan Vishnu is beyond time. He cannot be limited by Kala. Because Kala itself came from him, and that's the meaning of the word Shashvataha. And the next word is Krishna. The general meaning of Krishna is Krishna means one who has dark complexion is Krishna. Bhagavan Vishnu has dark complexion. He is always depicted like that, and so he is called Krishna. The other meaning of Krishna is Krishna means existence. Na means that which gives happiness or bliss. So, one whose existence itself is bliss, he is Krishna. When we worship Bhagavan Vishnu, or when we see his picture or image, or when we go see his vigraha, then that brings to us an eternal feeling of happiness, the feeling of bliss, and that's Bhagavan Vishnu. And so that's why he's called as Krishna. Whenever we worship Bhagavan, we always have a list of our desires. So, Bhagavan, please get me this, get me that. But once when we leave all our desires and just merge our mind with Bhagavan, then we can understand this bliss completely. And entirely we can understand this bliss. When we merge our mind without any desires to Bhagavan by chanting any of his names or just thinking about his image or without any thought, when we just merge our mind in Bhagavan, then we can clearly understand that feeling of bliss that is coming out from him. And that's the meaning of the word Krishna, one meaning. And another meaning is in according to the yogic culture, the Bahava in Bhagavan, all the chakras will be always activated. Particularly when the Vishuddha chakra, that is the throat chakra, when that is activated, it attracts everything. All the beings it will attract, and the person who has his Vishuddhi chakra activated will have the capacity to attract all the beings towards him. And when that Vishuddhi chakra is activated, it will have, that person will have the power to control or keep the snakes also. That's why we can see always the snake around Bhagavan Shiva. And Bhagavan Krishna also, he was standing on the hood of Kaliya, and he was just controlling Kaliya, that's Kaliya Mardhana. So that's one reason. When this Vishuddhi chakra is activated, the color of the Vishuddhi chakra is purple or deep blue in color. And that color, it just forms as a halo around Bhagavan or that person. And on the skin of the Bhagavan, the body of the Bhagavan is so shining because it is so pure, and that purple color or blue color is reflected from his body, and he appears blue in color, and by that reason also he is called as Krishna. And another reason is Krishyati iti Krishnaha. In Mahabharata, Bhagavan Krishna will say, I make plow with the iron and plow the Prithvi, and so called Krishna. So he's a farmer, and the farmers, they work for us to live comfortably. They work in the field and they just observe all the heat and UV radiation from the sun directly. They will observe it, and that's why they are so many of the farmers are dark in color. They are working so hard for us to live happily. For our comfort, they are working. And mostly the farmers will be dark in color. And Bhagavan Krishna says, I do plow the land, and so I am dark in color. And that's another meaning of the word Krishna. And another meaning is Karshadi Chittam Akarshati Chittaham. That is, Bhagavan Vishnu, He attracts all the beings, as the Bhagavan Krishna or in any other avatar of Lord Vishnu, he attracts all the beings, and by that meaning also he is called as Krishna. So these are the different meanings for the word Krishna. First is he has dark complexion, and so he is called Krishna. He is that existence bliss, Satchitananda Swarupa, and so he is called Krishna. And another meaning is he plows the land, and so he is called Krishna. Because his Vishuddhi chakra is activated, and so he has that blue color around him, and so he is called as Krishna. He attracts all beings towards him, and by that way meaning also he is called as Krishna. The next word is Lohitaksha. Lohit means a red or ruby red color. And one who has red color eyes is called Lohitaksha. And the red color is the guna or quality of Rajoguna. Red color, aggressiveness, all these are the qualities of the Rajoguna. Bhagavan Vishnu, he uses the Rajoguna, and by using that Rajoguna, sometimes he destroys the evil minds, and during Pralaya also he bring back all the gross objects into its original subtle stage. So he needs that aggressive nature to do this. And while doing this, he uses his Rajoguna to perform this job as a to destroy the all the beings in the creation during Pralaya. And so he is called as Lohitaksha. Bhagavan, he knows to control the Maya and use it at the same time. He just used these three gunas, that is the Sattva, Raja, and Tamo guna, as an instrument, just like how we use some instruments. But our problem is we do not use the Prakriti or Maya as instruments. We just merge with it, and we do not know what is Maya and what is reality. But Bhagavan is not like that. He uses the Rajoguna. And in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 4, Bhagavan Krishna says that I use Maya, Prakriti, and by using it, I manifest and help the creation. So Bhagavan Vishnu, he used this Maya as an instrument, and when he used this Maya, his eyes will be red in color, and we can very well see this in some of his avatars as Narsimhamurti avatar or as Parashurama. They are all that aggressive avatars. So he uses that Rajoguna, and the nature of the Rajoguna is that aggressiveness, and because of that, his eyes are red in color, and so he is called as called Lohitaksha. The next word is Pradarthanaha. Pradarthana means one who bring back the gross objects into its subtle form during pralaya. That is the direct meaning of it. But the same meaning is given for the word twashta in the verse, that is Sloka 6. The difference between twashta and pradarthana is twashta means that also he brings all the gross objects into its subtle form during pralaya. But that is a stage by stage or step by step destruction. He doesn't just destroy the gross objects and bring them into the subtle form. He first will take the gross body, then the sukshma sharira, like that, step by step. But brother, and that's why Tvashta is otherwise called Sukshma Samhara. where in that very subtle way the beings will not know, or they will not even realize that they are being transferred into their original form. A very subtle way of destruction, and it's all based on the karma of that beings. And here pradartanaha means, the difference is, it is that Bhagavan brings that gross form, is suddenly into a subtle form. Sometimes the beings there, they feel that they are being distracted, they are being destroyed, they may feel that. So this pradartanaha is called stula samharha. Was a perfect example of pradartana is, we have seen many lives being destroyed by tsunami, some earthquakes, volcanoes, tornadoes, everything. So this nature itself, they take an aggressive form and they destroy all the gross objects, gross beings, and bring them back to that original state. This will happen in pralaya. During pralaya, it will happen. So that is the meaning of the word pradartanaha. The next meaning is, that is the next word is prabhutaha. Prabhutaha means Bhagavan, Vishnu, he is complete with the divine gunas like Aishwarya and knowledge. Aishwarya means prosperity, knowledge, and that's why we call him Bhagavan. Bhagavan means one who has complete strength, that is Shakti, complete virya, power, complete yashas, that is fame, complete Aishwarya, prosperity. That complete, we cannot even imagine that complete prosperity, complete knowledge, Shuddha Jnana. And because of that Jnana, he has complete Vairagya. That is complete detachment. He has all this, but he is detached from all this. Then why should he have all this? He uses all this for him to manifest in this world and to maintain this universe. Even in our early life, we can see some people having strength, power, yes, prosperity, but since they do not have complete knowledge, they won't have detachment, vairagya. They use all this and attach their ego with it, and they disturb others, or they project themselves as something higher, someone higher than everyone. So that's the difference between this. Even in human life beings, they will not have the prosperity completely. 1 or 2% they will have. Even the richest businessman anywhere in the world, they will have only 1 or 2 percentage of this prosperity. But Bhagavan, he has complete prosperity, yashas, strength, virya, and on top of that, he will have vairagya. And that's why he is called Bhagavan. And that's the same meaning for the word Prabhutaha. And the next word is Trigaguptama. Dhama means support. Trigaguptama means the three worlds, that is the heaven, Swarga, the earth, and the Pathala Loka. These three lokas, he protect and support them, and so he is called as Trigaguptama. He, of course, he supports this entire creation, and he supports these three worlds, and so he is called as Trigaguptama. The next word is Pavitra. Pavitra means one who is pure, and he makes all the objects also pure. When we chant Bhagavan's name or when we chant his mantra, then it will make our mind pure. So that is Pavitra. Sometimes, for example, when we do any Vedic rites, the priest who is presiding over that, on that ritual, he will give the Ejamana, the person who performed that particular rite, a Pavitra ring that is made of darbha. It can we can also say it as kusha grass, darbha grass or kusha grass. Because that grass, particular grass, has the property or quality to purify our mind and body for a temporary period of time. If our mind and body are not pure, then we cannot intake or observe the subtle vibrations coming out from that chanting of the mantra or from that ritual. So this is temporary purification. And another also, sometimes after all the ritual rites are over, the Vedic rites are over, the main priest, he will pour some water in the conch and he place his hand over it, chant some mantra, and he will spray that water on all of us, or he will give us in our hands so that we can take it in. What he's doing is, he is by the mantras, he is invoking the karana jala in that shankar conch. Karana jala means the what can you say, the causal water, the causal water. That is, when there was no creation, only causal water was there, and Bhagavan Vishnu is lying on that causal water. That water he will invoke in that Shankonch, and when he spray that water on it, our mind and body will be removed of any sins. So that's the meaning of it. So these are some of the by rituals we purify our body and mind. But when we chant or utter Bhagavan's name, then it automatically purifies our mind, and because of that, he is called Pavitra. The next meaning is Param Mangalam. Mangalam Paraha, it can also be said as Param Mangala. Param Mangalam means, that is Acharya writes, one who bestows the highest form of prosperity by uttering his name or chanting his mantra is Param Mangalam. When we chant Bhagavan's name, of course, our mind becomes pure, and that's why after some time, when we chant Vishnu Sahasranama regularly for some time, then our mind becomes pure. So, in spite of having all these sins and obstacles in our life, we know the way to go through that obstacles and achieve our goal. So that's the benefit of chanting Vishnu Sahasranama. We will know the way to uh, go in between the obstacles, break through the obstacles, and go and achieve our goal. So even before reciting the Vishnu Sahasranama, Bhishmacharya said to Yudhishthira that I'm going to tell about Bhagavan Vishnu, who is Pavitranam Pavitram Yo, Mangalanam Cha Mangalam. That is, he is the zenith of purity, and he is the most auspicious of all the beings, and about Bhagavan Vishnu, and that Vishnu I'm going to tell about this 1,000 namas. So that's the meaning of the word Param Mangala. So in this shloka, there are 9 words, and these 9 words have very deep meaning. And in my next video, I will continue with the verse 8 of Vishnu Sahasranama. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। ॐ तत्सत्।